So today, my presentation is just about the latest developments in CCLAS. I'm also just going to talk to, mention some of our other Datamine applications and some other support functions that we provide. For those of you that haven't met me before, I'm the General Manager for CCLAS based in their Brisbane office for Datamine. I have a chemistry background like David, and been working with the CCLAS product for over 14 years. Working in a Queensland Nickel up in Townsville for about 10 years as an analytical chemist, and about 6 years of that time I was using CCLAS in a real-world laboratory environment. So, like a lot of our consultants, they have a chemistry background. That's really, why is that really important? If we don't understand how laboratories work, then you can't configure the software to meet those requirements. So as the general manager, I look after the product globally through sales, support, and R&D of the product. And I still do consulting from time to time. There's a photo of me up in Porgera. That was a couple of months ago. So that was I was smiling there. That was before I broke my toe, although that wasn't at the mine site, thank God. It was in the hotel. So that was quite an interesting trip. I nearly got stuck at Mount Hagen. So if anyone's been there, they'll know how gnarly that place is. All right. So we have as part of when we send out our maintenance letters, and not a lot of people know this, and I just thought I'd bring this up because it came up in our South African laboratory symposium that a lot of our users in South Africa got a lot of use out of our knowledge base. So we've got a knowledge base online that, and I'll send this out a link to everybody after the presentation, and anyone who's listening online, if you need access to a link to this site, just email support.cclas@dataminesoftware.com and we'll just send you through the link. But so this is like a common suite of FAQ questions that we look through all of our support tickets, and what are the common tickets that we see recurring that our customers need help with. So the warning message when you've maxed out the amount of concurrent users, how do you log users out, how do you add new staff members, because that's not, even though we do that training as part of a project, because you don't do it very often, you kind of forget how to do it. So these are really just small little videos. They're no longer than 5 minutes long, and it explains that process. If you've got a new contact of a client, if you're emailing out through CCLAS, how do you add a new contact? Limiting the display of decimal points in data entry. Some people want to change that to, instead of having to look at all of the decimal places off an instrument, just shorten that down. Remember, you're not rounding. All you're doing is just changing the view of that data. Adding a new CRM, again, it's not a common thing to do every day, so we've set up something for that. Setting up absolute tolerances on replicates. Investigating QC standards when you've found that something's wrong, and how you go back and research that. Changing QC samples in a job, investigating overwritten weights, troubleshooting balance integration issues that can happen from time to time, and then also restarting Taskman after a power outage. And then we've just got a little one down the bottom there about how do you better communicate with our support team to report a problem. So I always say, if you're going to get the best service from us as Datamine support, email us a description of the problem with a screen grab, and then generally an archive job. If you send all us that information, we're able to help you a lot quicker. On top of that, we've added, a back to basics video series that's all about the standard applications in CCLAS, so schemes, jobs, product codes, lab batching, data entry, balance capture, instrument upload and download, Taskman, reporting, audit trail, invoicing, and stream registration if you're using that. So we will be adding more support videos in the future. But if there's something you'd like to see, feel free to email me and we'll create that video for us. So just through discussion today, Artie and I were speaking about, well, it would be great if we had a certification for CCLAS. So that's something that was pretty easy for us to create. So we create a standard training package and then get certification. So will be releasing in the future a client portal. I think I mentioned that a little bit later in my presentation as well. So there's going to be some training components in that client portal that will enable us to do that. We also put our webinars on there. Most of our webinars go up on YouTube. If you're not, following Datamine APAC or Datamine as a company, we always post them up there. We're running webinars regularly. So we've got our mobile app that was this year, and our CCLAS EL and Fusion integration as well, along with our client web portal. We're also doing some research on an AI chatbot to integrate to this actual website, so it allows us, or allow our customers, to more easily search through that information. And the client web the customer portal that I spoke about, I'm trying to remember, Esther, what was our estimated date for launching that? Back half of this year. Yeah, so you'll be able to log in as a customer if you've got multiple Datamine products. You see the licenses for all those different products, and who the users are, and then obviously we're also looking to, as I said, incorporate training videos into that portal as well. So as you heard from Ian's presentation about the importance of laboratory training, in collaboration with Ian, we've come up with a laboratory skills training course because of that feedback that we got from last year's laboratory symposiums, that our customers are having troubles finding classically trained chemists. Ian's designed a course to help staff learn best practices in laboratory procedures, which obviously leads to more reliable quality of data. This accuracy is obviously crucial for mining operations and then making informed decisions, and obviously properly trained staff are more efficient, translating into cost savings, increased turnaround times, and training also ensures that your staff are up to date with industry standards, regulations, and which helps maintain compliance and ensuring safety of laboratory operations. So if that's something you're interested in, Datamine assisting in the training of your laboratory staff, please come and have a chat to me during the networking drinks. Now, we have migrated, basically all of the Datamine products have migrated to an R&D platform called AHA. Now, the advantage of that system, apart from kind of inner workings and organising the teams about where we focus our R&D efforts, is it allows our customers to add ideas or give us ideas about functionality that we want to see that they would like to see in the product. So it allows also customers to vote on ideas. So we would then review that each month in our monthly R&D meetings and look at them as possible candidates for new releases. So if anyone again is interested in providing us with suggestions, just email support.cclas and we can add you to that portal. And honestly, that's the best way for us to get, to create a better product. It's feedback from our customers, and that's where we focus all of our R&D work. I guess we might think about a great idea for a feature, but it's better for us to get feedback from our customers, say, hey, I really need this, and then we can always, prioritize that against, whatever else that we were looking at as part of our development. So those of you that are older CCLAS customers, will be used to this strip menu. As I've mentioned before, we're migrating to version 3, which is the C# application. So those of you either in the room or listening online, just to remember, if you're using any version 2, anything older than 2.4.4, that's out of active support. So I encourage you to upgrade to the latest version. The new release of version 3 will be at the end of October. We'll have a new version of that product and slightly change the interface a little bit, but it will look similar. Now, a lot of our customers were asking us, you know, CCLAS EL is a you know, an on-prem solution, but some of our customers are saying, well, can it be a web host, you know, a web hosted solution? So obviously we've got CCLAS 6 or G6 that the SGS team are using, which is a web-based solution. But there's platforms out there that allow you to make on-prem style solutions web-based or a cloud-based solution. So we've actually done a lot of testing around this. So the first testing that we did was Azure via Citrix. It actually works perfectly, but Citrix changed their licensing requirements recently, so it actually made it cost preventative. And with our IT team inside Datamine, there is some slight security concerns around the Citrix platform. So we also tested CCLAS on AWS AppStream, which essentially runs CCLAS in a browser. And while it runs okay, we did abandon this POC because, well, the cost model was actually really confusing. So it's actually hard for us to cost up how much it would cost to host for a customer. There was also no integration with serial devices, so that made it difficult to integrate with balancers. And there's also licensing issues around using Microsoft Office, which obviously Excel is an important part of the CCLAS platform where your report templates are designed. So we looked at, as Jonathan mentioned, we're part of a larger organization called Constellation Software. So we found one of our sister companies that runs, you know, an on-premise software, and they've been using Amazon Workspaces to run, you know, on-premise solutions for some time and deliver it to their customers via the cloud. So that's something we've tested on and are confident in that. So those of our customers that are interested, if you need to or look at Amazon Workspaces or a cloud-based system, that we can provide that and can host that for you. Now, I say this with caution when people want to migrate to the cloud. Obviously, it's important that you have good internet connectivity, reliable internet connectivity, and the right bandwidth. And then understanding the costs is important, because I have a catchphrase that I say: everyone wants to run on the cloud until you have to pay for the hosting costs, right? So it can be expensive, right? So you just have to, you know, there are advantages, and IT teams are keen to move into that space, but there are advantages and disadvantages, and you've got to weigh them up as a business. Yeah, that can happen. Okay, so the CCLAS mobile app. So Becca's going to come around now and just hand out some little sample bags that I've put in with the QR code on it. So you'll actually get to play with the mobile app shortly. But we released the Android mobile app for CCLAS EL in April this year to help resolve some of the challenges our customers were facing in the mine site. You know, given mine sites are generally in remote locations with, you know, poor or no phone reception, the mobile app has an offline capability which allows users to store information about the samples even if there's no mobile or phone reception. And then once users are back in mobile or Wi-Fi reception, they can transmit that stored data back to CCLAS. So having the ability to scan QR codes for samples improves obviously sample integrity, making sure the correct sample is put into the right bag. And even when taking process samples, you know, you could use a QR code on your tank and making sure field staff are taking the correct sample at the right location. So obviously it's got the ability to define other sample details inside CCLAS EL, and the mobile app can store as much detail as you wish to give you, more visibility on how your samples are progressing, from taking them in the mine site through sample prep, through instrument assay and onto sample storage. You don't have to do all that, but it gives you that flexibility. So, and the goal is obviously to help you improve your sample turnaround times and sample integrity. So I guess our use case, or biggest use case for one of our customers, is really around field sampling. So, generally field sampling staff are probably the least trained staff on site. So, this is probably where your highest risk is for sample integrity. So, most of our customers are using, paper sampling systems to record field notes or other observations, and sample IDs are generally written on the bag directly. Obviously, paper-based records for field notes can be easily lost or damaged, and handwritten sample IDs can sometimes be hard to read or mislabel, which affects the sample integrity. And obviously, there's also issue where samples are misplaced and not even delivered to the laboratory at all. So the downside of using this approach, then you've got to actually copy all your field notes into another system, electronic system. Obviously, there's that risk of manual transcription errors, and there's one study that has found that there's a 8.8% error rate when manually entering any data from one system to another. So 8 results per 100 pieces of data could be actually incorrect. So obviously this would be of a quality concern to any company. There would also be a delay in transferring handwritten data to other systems, as well as being obviously time consuming and because of that duplication of the data entry. And obviously there's limited traceability about who took the sample and at what date and time. Obviously the mobile app records that in the background. So obviously all of these issues are resolved through the CCLAS app. So recording that date and time and any observations that you want to record against that particular sample. So things that we're looking for future development, obviously our first iteration was just focused around Android. Our next iteration will be iOS, and because of the platform, we developed it on Kotlin. It's quite easy to actually integrate, and having tablet support. It'll probably run on a tablet right now, but because we haven't optimized it, there will be some formatting issues. So we just need to do a little bit more testing for tablets. Also looking at recording GPS locations for when you're actually taking the sample, and that would automatically happen in the background, and also taking photos of samples. So we've got customers in Indonesia that have given us this use case where sample integrity there is really important. So having a GPS location and having photos of the samples attached to the samples also really important. The mobile app as well has undergone extensive penetration testing, so make sure there's no security issues with the platform. Obviously, being on the open internet, this is really important. So we've had a third-party security testing team use multiple industry recognized methodologies, including OWASP for their testing. And on the server side, we're using Azure AD B2C for authentication and authorization for user access, and then obviously we're using HTTPS to ensure secure communication between the app and the server. So for your current CCLAS customer, the mobile app is actually included as part of your maintenance, so there's no extra licensing costs. The mobile app platform allows you to better track your samples, like I said, from field sampling through sample prep, through the laboratory, and all the way through to sample storage. There is obviously a setup required to interface the mobile app with CCLAS, so you would need to look at a project to assist that, and our consultants are ready to help you with that should you wish to proceed. Datamine can actually host the web server for you, or your IT team can host it themselves. As I presented last year and last year's Symposium, the client web portal again included with your maintenance. So again, if you are interested in either client web portal or the mobile app, just come and have a chat to me during the networking drinks. So external system integration is really important, especially with our mining customers. Ashish and the mineral resources team spoke about that. So obviously there's no point in actually having great turnaround times of laboratory data if you can't send that data to other, seamlessly to other systems, so that geologists and metallurgists and other operators can act on that data and make changes in the mine. So obviously outside of our current products, you heard about the mineral resources team already integrating with Mine Market. We've got integrations with production accounting, Here in WA, the Nickel West team have done integrations to both CCLAS Mine Market and Production Accounting. We've got integration to Fusion, which is a geology management system, and Minescape, which is a mine planning system, and also Centric, which I'll talk a little bit about that later on. So on top of that, there's obviously a lot of other plant management systems. One of the most common ones we come across is OSI Pi, although that's part of Aviva now. So a common plant historian that we've integrated through to CCLAS or CCLAS Historical Database, or CHD, by associating the Pi tags to that sample data. Other plant management, another system, Acquire, which is part of Acquire, actually part of a Constellation software, so they're kind of like our sister company. Another geology data management system. We're able to register samples automatically from Acquire, and then send results to Acquire, and that they've got that flow of data through. So there's actually no it can actually happen on an automatic basis. So the Acquire can send out a file, a CSV file, and we can register with that automatically. So it's the more that you automate in your laboratory, the easier it is for the lab staff to just focus on the sample analysis. Other common plant information management systems, Honeywell and Exaquantum. We've done integrations through those, through CHD and some Taskman scripts, and also the robotic integrations, which if FLF Smiths now owns the IMP PrepMaster systems, and that's commonly used across the minerals industry. And we've done integrations to those robotic systems as well as other robotic systems globally. Now, as Cees did mention, the B2 MML integration, so we're actually working on that new integration model right now. It's part of Industry 4.0. So, to break it down, it's really just an XML integration model established against the ISO 95 standard. So we actually prefer XML even outside of B2 MML. A lot of the integration that we do, especially with external laboratories, so customers that their production labs, and they send samples off site. Why is XML really important or better for us to use? You can actually validate that data before it comes into CCLAS, you actually have a level of error checking that you don't have with CSV files. So really, B2MML is it dictates a set of common XML schemes that can be used across all enterprise applications, LIMS, ERPs, supply chain management system, and other control systems. So both CCLAS and Mine Market, we have there's a different version there's a 2019 version which we've configured both products for, and then we're working on the 2020 version of the schemas to be completed, and we'll be working with the Mineral Resources team, and we're doing this in collaboration with the ERDI team here in Perth, and we'll actually be working with them to do a podcast about this integration process. So just stay tuned to our LinkedIn, and we'll be releasing that hopefully by the end of this year. Okay, so again, I spoke about our Datamine products, and one of the products I wanted to focus on was Centric Analytics. So Centric, can do reconciliation, but one of its strong suites is really reporting. And we spoke about this in our product management meeting in Bristol in March this year. I spoke about this in the South Africa Laboratory Symposium and got a lot of good feedback about that. So, we are looking to just inform all our customers around using Centric. So as an example here, you can probably see it might be a little bit small, but bottom left-hand corner, you've got some laboratory turnaround data, shipping turnaround, dispatch. So, it basically enables a mine site to have a KPI dashboard where it can pull data from lots of different sources, not just LIMS and tonnages, to be able to view a KPI dashboard from a production point of view. Now, the KPI dashboards are user-built visualizations. So obviously one of the competing technologies are Power BI. Now, if you ever use Power BI, it is, you do need to be trained, and it is not it's not easy to use. So generally speaking, if you're using Power BI, you've got an IT team to do that for you. So the focus that the Centric team worked on is, with some training, you're able to, essentially build, KPI dashboards yourself. You're always going to want to change your dashboard, so making it that flexible. As data comes in, it's refreshed, and it's all interactive, so you can drill down and have a look at data. It can be emailed out to subscribers, and you can have a different dashboard cycle. You can have tab reports and then also save them to PDF. Centric team also has worked on reporting. Again, it's user built. It's an example of a production report, and again can be emailed out to subscribers automatically on a schedule, and again it's flexible and customizable. So if you're interested in, again, using Centric Analytics, again, come and have a chat to me after the networking drinks, or during the networking drinks, I should say.